In December of 2019, two very close friends, Malice and Queen, and I began working on a joke project called Kryptos High School. It was planned to be something like a slightly higher effort Neon Nico Sugar Girls for the Vocaloid fandom. As such, there were a lot of nonsensical story beats, like Kaido getting the bubonic plague and having to see the school nurse, or Kagi Yuki attending the high school only because Kyotaru can't afford to send her to elementary school with his teacher's salary. I was in charge of putting together some background music, as well as a little bit of the voice acting, of which none of us have preserved as far as I'm aware. Most of the music you'll hear in this video are arrangements of existing Vocaloid songs that I've made to fit whatever weird and offbeat situations Miku and the rest of the Kryptos student body would find themselves in. I'll be providing a little bit of context of the scenes that would constitute this music, and sharing some of my inspirations. 90% of the artwork was made by Malice, who did give me permission to archive their art in this video. I'll be leaving the social media pages they provided me in the description so you can check out their newer art, as this stuff is nearly 6 years old at this point. Also, in the event that you like any of these song arranges, you're more than free to use them as long as you credit the original producer and myself. With that said, here's the, still unfinished, soundtrack to Kryptos High. The first song I have for you all is actually the theme song, or at least the first draft of it. I was heavily inspired by those early 2000s teenage sitcom theme songs like Zoe 101 or iCarly. Some notes about the lyrics: at the beginning of episode 1, when Miku's introducing herself in the typical anime trope of running late to school with a slice of bread in her mouth, she starts randomly trauma dumping about how her parents don't like her. It was very odd. Also, the card Miku drops is her social security card, that she, for some reason that has now been lost to time, always carries with her. Without further ado, here's Can You Believe It?
I never believed I would be in here, in this brand new school. I thought I'd be just like my father said, I useless and no good tool. But when I entered those halls and I dropped this card, I really fell in love. Maybe this life at this new school is just what I've been dreaming of. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe it that I will come around in due time?
Because a lot of Kryptos High's plot hinges on romance, I thought that having First Love Academy be a reoccurring song would be a fun motif, so I decided to make it the song that plays in the hallways. This smooth jazz route I took was meant to call back to the Persona series, not for any reason in particular, I just really love the Persona soundtracks. So this one is kind of weird to explain, but I made this arrangement of Plus Boy vaguely bachata inspired because I was in Spanish class when I thought of it. That's it, that's the justification. This would play while the characters would be in Kyotaru's classroom. This pizzicato track was inspired by some of the orchestral music that was used in the background of 90s cartoons. I was very much thinking of Ren and Stimpy when I made this one. This song would play in the nurse's office, as long as nothing serious was happening. Given that Gakupo is the principal of Kryptos High, I'd be a fool to not make the theme that plays in his office a version of Dancing Samurai. A lot of the scenes in Gakupo's office were meant to be awkward, kind of like you're sitting in an elevator with a stranger for 10 floors, so I made it a bossa nova tune. The plot regarding the school play was one of the bits that I enjoyed writing for the most, mostly because I really like Flower's character. Basically, the play they were supposed to be doing was OSTER Project's Alice in Musicland, but the drama club, Flower, basically, couldn't but the rights, so they had to go with Alice of Human Sacrifice instead. This song's instrumentation was meant to sound a little clumsy and whimsical in a way. Based on Zekkai's Pisco Sense, this song titled Melancholy was meant to be for melodramatic moments like Kaido's aforementioned diagnosis of bubonic plague. This track was particularly inspired by that episode of SpongeBob where Gary leaves him to hang out with Patrick, and the sad piano ballad that plays throughout it. I'm gonna be real, this one and another similar sounding track are definitely my least favorites of the bunch, mostly because old school MuseScore's sound font was abysmal and my early high school arranging skills couldn't make up for it. Anyways, inspired by Suzuki-P, this track was meant to be used in a scene where MEIKO intimidates Miku, though I don't remember what exactly she was supposed to be intimidating her for. Matryoshka vaguely reminded me of Rock Lobster. So I made it surf rock. This was meant to be the BGM for the quintessential anime beach episode. Similarly to MEIKO's encounter, this song is one of my least favorites. This song was meant to play during a monologue Yugami would have during the climax of the plot in which she reveals her love for Kaido and her not so underlying hatred for Miku. Also for some reason she manages to get Miku into a cage. I don't remember how. The bass song is Love is War, by Ryo, Supercell. This theme for the nurse's office would play when someone was seriously injured, particularly when Kaido is first inflicted with the plague. I didn't have a direct inspiration for Rin and Len's theme song, but I did know that I wanted it to sound mischievous. The bass song for this is Wonderful * Opportunities Remote Controller. Yuki's theme was inspired by the Lucky Star soundtrack, particularly Fun Fun Deo. I wanted her theme to make it obvious she was out of place, so I recorded her to make it obvious she belonged in an elementary school. The bass song is KONEKO no PAYAPAYA. This song lifts its chords from the SCL project song Le Rouge est Amour. This was meant to play when Neru, MEIKO, or Gumi as they were the typical anime brand of school delinquents. The talking sample in the song is the clip from SpongeBob of the newscaster saying every villain is lemons.